this is going to be interesting because I realize I only have this little device for sending sound up to the camera, but I don't have a mixer. So I'm trying to work out how to capture all this stuff at once so you can hear my voice as well as hear this. So I'm just using the built-in mic on the thing, and I keep forgetting that I've turned it off or I've turned tracks down. So I might have to record this a few times. Anyway, here's the track, and it's basically 8 bars. If I go back to the start, so I can hold down Shift and backwards to go back to the side of my tape. So I've got 3, 4, which so when I press the tape button, right, you heard none of that. So the voice arming, so the voice record is linked to the current track, which you can see here. I'm on track 2. If I go to another track, you can't hear me because if I go to the mixer page, this shows me the levels for each track, and you can see that only track 2 is turned up and all the rest are turned down, which is why when I play the track, you can only hear the drums. If I start to turn up the other tracks, you'll hear the other bits of the song. Now, why are they all turned down or turned up? Well, that's because I'm using these levels to mix the track sort of live. So when I start the song, I only want the drums, so I'm turning all this down. There are other ways that you can mute and solo tracks, so let me turn these all up again so I don't make a mistake and you stop hearing my voice. So when I'm in tape mode here, if I press and hold any of these keys, it solos that track. The other way I can mute and solo is I can hold down Shift and that track, which will then bypass and activate that track. So if I but I found when I was trying to work out how to perform it all, I got really confused doing all that, and I would sort of accidentally mute tracks or unmute tracks when I didn't want them. So I found it's easier to perform the song build-up using this. But that means I got to be very careful because, like I said, the built-in mic, it's linked to whatever current track I have chosen. So if I go over here to track 1, you can hear I'm already dimmer. And if I happen to turn it down, then you're going to... So I've got to make sure that I'm always on track 2 because I always leave the drums activated, I think, as I'm performing. Hopefully for all the bits I want to talk about. So that's track levels. The other thing is the effects. So you have effects kind of almost like as a stomp pedal, which you can do per track as you're recording. But the other one is you can have a final sort of effects pedal as the master playout. So when I'm in the mixer page and I go to, so page 1 is levels, page 2 is EQ, which I'm using a little bit but not much. Page 3 is the effects. So at the moment I'm using this dual band filter. So if I play just the drums, at the moment it's in sort of flat mode. Generally with the OP1, the colors correspond to the knobs. So this is a high pass filter and that is a low pass filter. So if I start to play with this, and white is mapped to resonance. So resonance is a little bit too glitchy, but the green knob is matched to, I guess, sidechaining, or it's tracking the volume of the track to move the knobs. So if I swing it this way, the knobs get pulled down with volume. If I swing it the other way, knobs gets pulled up with volume, which goes like this. So in the middle, it has no effects, but let's play with that a bit. you can do is, oops, sorry, there you go. Now you can hear me. No, so that's kind of fun. The other thing you can do is you can store states. So I can, if I hold down a button, oops, okay. So if I, no, so yeah, so if I tap a button and play with the knobs, the next time that I press a button, it all goes back into the state it was when I was pressing it, which goes like this. So that one, you can see I stored a state where I had the frequency knob turned down. So the frequency knob was turned down and the green tracking knob was turned up. And I'll do the opposite for this button. So now I can turn these on temporarily like this. So that's pretty handy for kind of live DJ style silly tricks. So to perform the track, the other thing I was doing was I was using the back in the tape page, using the ability to either just let the song play out or to loop bits. So if I rewind again to this side of the track, so these knobs here control my looping, so my in, my out, and whether I'm looping or not. So I'm going to set the in point, and if I hold down Shift and the arrow keys, I can move by bars. So I'm going to set the out point to the first bar. So, and you can see there that turns the loop on and off. So I can either let it just play through, or at any point I can press the loop button and it'll just go back to looping. So you can see that's now just looping that bar. The other thing you can do is, while I'm in loop mode, that same keyboard shortcut for jumping around the bars will set the next bar to play. So if I've marked out one bar to loop here, I can hold down Shift and I can go I can arrow around while it's playing, and it'll then cue up the next bar. So it goes like this. So you can see there's a little dim grey indicator to show what's the next bar cue to play. So it's like it's like in Ableton where you're pressing the little play button, it'll jump to it on the next go around. So what I was trying to do when I was sort of performing the track was marking out. First, I just let it play through the full 8 bars. Then I loop just the first bar, start to turn up the faders on this page for the other bits of the song, and then got myself confused as I was trying to turn on and off effects, loop the full 8 bars, then loop, say, 1 bar, then jumping between this bar and that bar, then looping the final 4 bars, and then trying desperately to come up with a nice clean way to fade out the track. I didn't really succeed, but you can kind of see what I'm doing. So just so you can understand what I'm doing, when I'm in tape mode, I'm controlling generally if I'm playing straight through or I'm looping a bar, and which bar I'm looping. And when I'm in this page, I'm doing the levels for the tracks, and I might be playing with the effects and the drive. So let's try and perform this thing. So back to the first bar, turn off looping, and let's go. So, damn it, let's try again. You can see I end up performing this a lot. The other thing in terms of how I actually record the performance, I mean, one way is this way, or I just run straight line out into a camera or something, but this little iRig, it's mono, I only realized yesterday. So instead what you do is you use this other button over here, and it's a record cutter. It's a very silly thing. So I can hit record, and this now records everything I do. So when I hit play, you can see so I've hit this too many times where I have to go back to here, get myself ready to go, that on, that on, that on. This is good to go. I'm looping the first bar. Actually, I don't want to loop the first bar. I want to put it like that. I got to remember that I want to start like an intro, like a good Daft Punk intro. And we're going to hit record. Let's go. Shit. Start with that on.